In this lecture, we will begin our discussion on the regulation of the thyroid hormone. That is how hypothalamus-pituitary axis regulate this thyroid hormone synthesis and release. And secondly, we will talk about what is the thyroid binding globulin, that is TBG. Hypothalamus secrete the thyroid releasing hormone. This thyroid releasing hormone then act on the anterior pituitary, and which then release the thyroid stimulating hormone. The thyroid stimulating hormone act on the receptor present on the thyroid follicles. Suppose this thyroid gland represents a thyroid follicle, and here is the location of the TSH receptor, and the TSH act on the receptor. The TSH when act on the receptor, this result in the increase thyroid uptake and increase the synthesis of thyroid globulin, and that's how they increase the synthesis of T3 and T4. If there is excess of T3 and T4 present in the blood, then a negative feedback mechanism inhibit the release of thyroid releasing hormone and also inhibit the release of thyroid stimulating hormone, and that's how they decrease the synthesis and release of thyroid hormone. In addition to stimulating the thyroid stimulating hormone, thyroid releasing hormone can also stimulate the release of prolactin from the anterior pituitary, which helps in the milk production, but generally the less potent than the dopamine, which inhibit the prolactin secretion. Let's understand this with the example. Suppose obese female with normal thyroid function test in using levothyroxine, that is T4 for reducing weight. And T4 is commonly used in a person with a low level of thyroid hormone in order to compensate the low level of thyroid hormone. So excessive ingestion of T4, then what will happen to the level of T3, T4, TSH and in reverse T3 in this person? As she is taking excess of exogenous T4, the exogenous T4 that inhibit by negative feedback mechanism the release of thyroid releasing hormone and also inhibit the release of TSH from the anterior pituitary. This will cause the decrease the production of T3 and T4. So T3 level would be low, TSH level would be low. As for T4, production of T4 is low, but as we taking excess exogenous T4, the T4 level would be high. And as we know, the T4, excess of T4 converted to the reverse T3 by the diogenes type 3. So increase of T4 ultimately result in increased level of reverse T3. So in summary, there is decreased level of T3, increased level of T4, decreased level of TSH, and increased level of reverse T3. And let's do another example. The patient present with fatigue, cold intolerance, and thinning of hair, and a family history of Hashimoto is present. So we suspect primary hypothyroidism in this patient. So what will be the level of TSH, T3, T4 and reverse T3? As in primary hypothyroidism, the level of T3 and T4 would be low. The hypothalamus detect the low level of T3 and T4 and result in increase the release of thyroid releasing hormone, which act on anterior pituitary and result in increased level of thyroid stimulating hormone, which act on the thyroid follicle. Increase in TRH and increase in TSH not gonna increase the production of T3 and T4, as in this case there is autoimmune destruction of thyroid gland. Because of this, there is still the low level of T3 and T4 despite the increased secretion of TSH. So in this case, there is increased TSH level, decreased T3 level, decreased T4 level. As far as reverse T3 is concerned, because of low level of T4 will ultimately the low level of reverse T3. The thyroid binding globulin, the TBG is synthesized by the liver What is its action? The T4 and T3 circulate in plasma almost entirely bound to TBG. That is, more than 99% of T3 and T4 are bound to TBG, which is produced by liver. It is the unbound or free hormones that diffuse into tissue and exert its metabolic action. Some labs measure the total T3 and T4 levels. What is the total T3 and T4 levels? It is the T3 and T4 bound to TBG and plus the free T3 and T4. But it's increasingly common to measure the free T3 and T4 level. The advantage of free hormone measurement is that they are not influenced by the change in concentration of TBG. There are some conditions in which the TBG levels are increased. There is in some conditions where the TBG levels are decreased. The TBG levels are increased by the pregnancy, where there is increased estrogen in the body. Second one is estrogen therapy. That is the use of oral contraceptive pills in case of hepatitis. That is especially the acute phase of hepatitis. And there are some drugs that increase the TBG levels. What are those drugs? The first is OCP, oral contraceptive pills, methadone, and hair oil. These are the few conditions where the TBG levels will be increased in the body. The TBG levels decreased by number one, androgen excess in the body. For example, the anabolic steroid, the glucocorticoids, for example, dexamethasone, severe illness or malnutrition. And the last one is cirrhosis or liver failure. These are the few conditions where the TBG levels are affected. So it is important to measure the free T3 and T4 levels independent of increase or decrease level of TBG. Liver produce TBG. Let's assume this circle represent the TBG. There are free hormones present in the body: T4, T3, T4, T3, T4, T3. The TBG produced by liver, which then bind with the T4 and T3 in the circulation. It is bound with. So we have only this T4 and T3 which is free. So this free hormones is only the active one. So in theory, we can measure the total T3 and T4, which is T3 and T4 bound with TBG plus the free T3, T4. Or we can measure only the free T3, T4 level. Suppose we have a patient with liver failure. So there is low level of TBG, low level of TBG. So what will happen to the level of total T3 and T4? And what will happen to the level of free T3 and T4? This is the T3, T4, T3, T4, T3, T4. Because of decreased production of TBG, these are the only hormones that are bound with the TBG. So initially decrease in TBG results in decrease in T3 and T4 bound to TBG. So we have increased free T3, T4 initially. So as we know, increased T3 and T4 level by negative feedback mechanism inhibit the release of thyroid releasing hormone and inhibit the release of thyroid stimulating hormone and ultimately lead to increased synthesis and release of T3, T4. Initially, increased free T3 and T4 will ultimately bring back to normal by the decreased production from the thyroid gland. So net result is the free T3 and T4 will become normal because of less thyroid hormones bound to the TBG. So there will be decreased total thyroid hormone, as total thyroid hormone is the T3, T4 bound with TBG plus free T3 and T4. has free T3 and T4 are normals, and T3 and T4 that is bound with TBG and decreased, so result in decrease in total T3 and T4 levels by the decrease of level of TBG. Let's do another example. We have a pregnant patient. Because of pregnancy, there is increased level of estrogen in the body, which results in the increased production of TBG. What will happen to the level of total T3 and T4? And what will happen to the level of free T3 and T4 level? Increased TBG results in more hormone bound with TBG and ultimately result in decreased level of free T3 and T4 initially. Because of decreased level of T3 and T4, the hypothalamus increases the production of thyroid releasing hormone, which act on the pituitary and result in increased production of thyroid stimulating hormone, which act on the thyroid gland and ultimately result in increase the production of T3 and T4. So initial low level will ultimately bring back to normal by the increased production of free T3 and T4. So T3 and T4 level become normal. So free T3 and T4 level become normal, and because of higher production of TBG, there is increased total T3 and T4 level bound with TBG. Always measure free T3 and T4 levels, as total T3 and T4 levels can give us a false result based on the level of TBG.